Let's do it live on a Tuesday edition of the program. Merely Bo, the great Z. How you living, buddy?
I'm great. Coming off of a very successful Cleveland Browns Foundation golf outing yesterday. That was wonderful. The weather
Well, I'm noticing
is still
the
wonderful.
oranges.
Yeah, I got some oranges.
No, but you got, look at that. You got two shades
I've got
of
two
orange
on one shirt.
On one shirt, and then it's a different from the orange of the studio.
Dare I say maybe three? 'Cause
Are there three
This could be a
oranges?
third shade. On
I don't
camera,
think you're wrong.
it's
I think
certainly-
it looks like there's three shades of orange.
especially
in that.
right there in that light.
Yeah. You definitely have, I mean, the fabric, the
Yeah,
front
this-
fabric is a, do you think that was a conscious choice?
Yeah, it's that whole year of Nike. Like my gray ones are like that.
Oh, really?
It
Where
was
they
that
got
year
two
of Nike where it
shades?
was a two shade. The sleeve and the back are different.
That's
than
wild.
The trunk.
That's very wild because Nike is, as we know, fiercely protective of this is your color.
Oh yeah, no, this one, and I'll wear the gray one again. The gray one's the same thing. The body versus the sleeves and the back.
And the
are
back is different. How'd it go last night? I don't know.
It went well.
There's a lot going on.
A lot going on here.
That's all I'll say. There's a
OTAs.
lot going on. There's OTAs.
Yeah.
The parking lots are full.
Yeah,
People shucking and jiving.
they're in the mix. Yeah, no doubt.
How did it go?
So it's great. So I went out there and met up with Zashin and Teddy Ball game. By the way, I watched Zashin send me last night your segment together.
No, did he?
It was great.
Oh, it was pure joy.
Yeah, you guys had a good time.
Amazing chemistry between
Yeah,
he and I
it
right
really
out of the gates.
felt-
You knew it would.
Yeah, I was. In fact, I heard the name Wally Pipp invoked, which
I think he was saying
made
you
me
don't
a
need
little
to come
bit nervous.
back. See, you
Made me a
don't need to
little-
come back.
made me a little
I'll take it
nervous.
from here. The great session. Yeah.
But yeah, so met up with them, and was able to play 8 holes.
You got in 8.
8. Yeah.
So that was a not brisk pace then.
No, it was not
Is that
a
like a
brisk pace.
5.5 hour round? Like
Yeah, we
in a
didn't
scramble, you
they,
should-
They teed off at noon, and we did not get back into the room until 5:30.
okay.
Yeah, it's long.
So we got to work on that.
it's a long
for
time.
next year. We'll talk to Renee,
but we
and we'll make sure that the pace of play is a little quicker than that.
So as we deduced from, you could go back and play the tape. We saw Batonio's group. We're like, oh no, that's
That sticks.
a good group. They won.
Yeah.
16 under. So they won.
No names, but did you see the last place score?
I did not. I was curious. I wanted to
very
see if
curious
anybody
what
was
that
over
was.
par, and they would not divulge that
Oh,
information.
they kept that.
They just said we don't know.
We don't know.
I said I think there might have been.
Maybe two groups actually.
Could have been. So we ended up. I joined them for the final 8. Started off par.
Okay.
That's not right. Par. Then we got rolling. We were 7 under and 8 holes together, and we were. No, wait. We did start off par, and then we finished with all birdies and an eagle. So we were 7 under
So
for the
you
last
had to be in
6
the mix?
holes. We would have been. They were 1 under the first 10.
Oh, you got it. Yeah.
So then once we came, then we started really kind
Once you
of
get the
rallying,
ringer,
and we had a little bit of a vibe going. I was hitting some bombs.
Well, it's just, not only what you get with you is not only you get the great golf, but you get the shot of energy.
Yeah, and I
Your
get a lot of
adrenaline shot.
positivity.
Yeah,
a lot
you
of
got everybody's
positivity.
back. You're a fun guy to be around.
I helped Ted swing. Ted started hitting bombs. And we played with Tony Brown, who's what a great guy. Like,
Yeah.
second time he played golf in his life. And he was getting kind of frustrated. I'm like, dude, this game is hard.
It's tough,
so
man.
He was kind of worked on his grip. And then his last 2 shots, he didn't hit dead straight, but he hit flush on the face and were bombs.
Yeah.
So he was pleased.
Then
He was
excited
pleased with
about
that.
it.
Yeah.
That's what brings you back when you're bad.
That's what I said. You need
Yeah,
that
a
one
couple
shot
of
where you
those.
felt that. I said you felt how pure that was. That's what it's all about. But yeah, we got it going. We got it going well. Westwood was great. The conditions were great. The greens were awesome. Had an eagle. Had a fun moment with Jameis.
I think everybody has a fun moment with Jameis.
So
you
we're
see the
on-
missed putt with that we put up. Great.
I did see that.
He's pure joy.
You see MJ's bomb?
I did.
That's
That's
great.
crazy. That's
And the celebration.
Yeah.
Well, I had witnessed MJ try to hit a ball, and he had, on consecutive swings, hit dirt from behind the ball in front of the ball without touching the ball. So the fact that he was able to drop a bomb was epic. He's like, man, this is hard. I was like, yeah. Guy, let me tell you something. Golf, I said to Tony Brown, I said, if you break 90 once in your life, that's better than the majority of golfers. That puts you in the upper 50 percentile of golfers.
I always tell, and I'm bad, but I always tell people that are
90, not 80, 90.
I heard you.
Yeah.
There are so many bad golfers.
Yes.
Like so many who play a lot.
Yes.
Who are bad. That however bad you are, trust me, You're not alone, and there's a lot of people worse.
I told him, he said, when did you start playing golf? And I said, it said between 7th and 8th grade year. And I said, I want you to listen to what I'm about to tell you. The first time I played golf, I shot 144.
Right. Yeah.
And now I can do this. So,
yes.
And you're a professional athlete. You'll
be fine.
You'll be fine.
Yeah,
and he had a good athletic move, and he really, he was a awesome guy. Loves B. Lynch, loves Bubba.
Yeah.
Obviously, those are the guys he's going to be dealing with primarily, but he was great. He was the number 2 recruit in the state of Texas the year Miles came out. So Miles was the number 1 prospect coming out of Texas, and he was number 2.
Really?
Yeah. This is what he said. But yes, I believe him. I take him very much at face value. Tony Brown. All right, so the Jameis story.
I'm trying to remember, because I would have been all over that from a recruiting standpoint. So he's a Beaumont guy.
Yep.
Played for Ozen. Went to Bama. Mm-hmm. Very interesting.
Yeah, we need Dean Bugler. We need Dane's.
Yeah,
that would be in
number
there.
2 corner in the nation.
Yeah,
5-star prospect.
He was the number 2 player in Texas playing Miles. Yeah, legit.
Wow.
And he's an incredible specimen.
Yeah,
great guy. Really enjoyed our time. So
right,
he's rooming with Jameis. They're living together in like an Airbnb.
Okay.
And so we get to number 11, which is. It's a par 5 technically, but it's only like 500 yards maybe.
Okay.
So it was not a long par 5. And so we're about to tee off, and I'd been hitting some bombs, and Tony's like, Jameis, come over, you watch this guy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
A little bit of pressure.
Yeah.
Because I was like, he's going to say something.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
I'd like it to be positive.
Yeah.
And I annihilate one to the point where we had 35 yards left.
Oh, you crushed it.
Like
pure.
As good as I can hit a golf ball.
Yep.
And Jameis, I turn around, and he just looks right at me, and he goes, if you can do anything, I can do it better. Sings it to me. So then I sang right back to him, I can do anything better than you. And I was thinking, was it Rodney Pete, Troy Aikman, or was it Dan and Dan? But that was an ad campaign.
Dan and Dan.
Yeah.
It was Dan and Dave.
No, you can't. Yes,
Dan and Dave.
Dan and Dave. Dan and Dave. Yeah.
Dave O'Brien, Dan, whatever.
Yeah.
The one guy missed the Olympics.
Didn't even make it.
And then he won it the next time. 4 years later, he won gold.
With no hype.
But I think he wasn't the deal that
was it the decathlon?
It was the decathlon, but it was either the high jump or the pole vault. He didn't even try because he's like, oh, I can do that in my sleep. He didn't even try it until it got to a certain height. And he could have just done it at like 5 feet.
And made it.
But he's like, nah, wake me up at 7 feet. And then he missed it. And that's what I think it was the high jump.
Yeah.
I think.
So anyway, that's what he said. Of all the things in the world, he just sang that to me.
Well, then did he? Did you say get on the tee? Let's see it.
I did not. I said it, and he didn't really push back. I did, however,
What an amazing thing to sing.
I did go on to say the things that you're better at have been much more profitable.
Yes.
For you in your life than what I'm maybe better at.
Yes. You've done quite well.
But that
is an amazing thing to say. Which is so great.
Just out of nowhere. I mean, out of left field. Arm out, sings it, huge smile on his face. If you can do anything, I can do it better. Like that. I mean, that's how he sang it. It was unreal.
Oh, that's great. That is great. How was the auction?
Auction was good. Raised, I would say, about 30-ish on 4 items.
Okay.
Now, we had a couple of very generous people, the DiGeronimos, and then my buddy Bartles at his table. They went out there, and they both went $10K to fly with the team to Vegas.
That's fun. That's a cool experience.
That's, as I said yesterday, that's one that it doesn't really exist outside of this room.
No. You know where they're having to do stuff like that is in the NIL world now. They're having to like save seats on trips. Like I know like the Ohio State Oregon trip, like they're like saving seats for donors in an effort to raise money for NIL.
Yeah.
So that's now part of that reality.
But it was good. We even had like a little bit of controversy in the finish of the final scores.
Oh, no.
Winner was at 16 under. That was Batonio's team. Then there was a 13 under.
I believe we had that, by the way.
And then third was 12 under. And one team in the front went like apoplectic. They're like, we shot 13 under. Like, what's going on? In fact, at one point I was accused of being in a different country, which was not meant as a compliment.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
You were at fault, they thought?
Yeah, they were
or
wondering
because you
if
were
I was
delivering the message.
if I was in Kim. That's what I said. I'm just reading the cards. Like,
what am I doing?
I said, let's figure out what happened here, and we'll sort it out, right? Because they're good prizes. I mean,
yeah.
I think first place you had a choice of a Blackstone grill for each member of your team.
Yep.
Big Yeti cooler on wheels, like with a handle that was very nice, and then AirPods Max or Pro or some nice looking over the ear AirPods.
Nice.
So good prizes. So people they wanted.
They wanted it.
They wanted. So
taste, yeah.
They were up in arms. I was accused of working for Kim Jong Il. Like, what is going on? I'm like, wait a second. Hold on a second. So let's go figure this out. So we go over and we're told there was a scorecard playoff that they lost. But initially we had been told that there was a scorecard playoff for second that they lost. And I said, well, then that would automatically make them third. They don't.
Yeah.
You're not just
You're
out.
not out. Yeah.
Right. So I said, okay, let's figure this out. So we had to then we realized it was actually they were in a scorecard playoff for third that they actually shot 12 under, even though they believed they shot 13 under. And they're like, no, we shot 13 under. Okay. So we get the scorecard sent to us from the pro.
Yeah.
So now it's
now you
there.
got it.
Now we've got it. Picture of the scorecard, which turned out to be key. I was like, look, I'll go talk to them. We've got the scorecard now. We'll go talk to them. We'll get this all sorted. So I come over and I say, all right, we got the scorecard from the pro. I was like, is this your guys' scorecard? Do you agree with that? They're like, yep. I said, all right, so let's just look at it. Let's just go hole by hole. So I said what stood out, and the pro had noted it, that they had on the fourth hole, which is a par 3, they had written a 3 and circled it like a birdie. Like every other one they had circled was a birdie, but this was a par. So I said, I think that's what happened. You guys counted that as a birdie, and so you thought you shot 27 on the front. You really shot 28. And they're like, but we did birdie it. Like a couple guys in the group like, wait a second, we birdied it.
They made 2 as their claim now, even though they wrote down 3?
So they were like, we made 2. We made 9 birdies in a row at one point. And they said, that was one of them. I said, okay.
We didn't write that down.
I said, but here, I said, just look. And then the guy takes the phone and looks. I said, because it says, I said, that's a 3, right? You wrote a 3? And he, like, white as a ghost. He's like, I can't.
He wrote down the wrong numbers?
Like, I can't believe I wrote down the wrong number. Yeah. He wrote a 3 when they really made a 2, so they should have been third. But they wrote the wrong number. He was despondent. I felt very bad. Very bad.
That sucks.
Because they did. It's like in the tour, incorrect scorecard.
Yeah, you got to have it.
It's got it. So it's very unfortunate because they certainly were worthy. So hopefully next year they'll come back and we'll have a second scorecard in the group so that we're all on the same page.
Everybody gets on the same page on
that.
Hey, and when you played the youth golf, would you keep your score and somebody else's or just yours?
You usually had to kept somebody else's and you'd keep yours on the bottom.
Okay.
But that wasn't the official.
Okay. So somebody else kept yours.
Yeah.
So we ran into that with that NBC thing. I never had no point of reference, but it was like they were like keeping score of each other's, but then it was kind of nefarious.
Why are they making side deals? Are they making side deals?
No, but like the scores written down were not reflective of what was actually happening. It was a lot of like 5.
Yes.
I'm going, well, wait a second.
Yes.
That's definitely not what you had at all.
Yeah.
So, like, I kept them on my phone for each kid in the group because I'm like, I got to proof this. This is out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got to tell NBC, you've got to know everybody in your group scores on every single hole.
Yeah, that's daunting in a foursome.
I know everybody, like, and just the way my brain works, when I play golf with somebody, I could tell you could be like, well, what did I do on number 3? And I could tell you
would have
every single shot that you had.
You'd have it. Yeah.
Because yeah.
How much did our foursome get? You and me playing. Did that happen again or no?
They didn't do it. I don't understand it.
They don't like money?
I don't understand it.
Or do you think it's just keeping us down? You think it's just a way to tamper us?
It feels like it.
That's a real shame because that was a moneymaker a year ago.
And it was so fun.
A robust moneymaker.
And we have new friends.
We have new friends, and that was a robust moneymaker.
Robust.
And now ignored. We even put Renee on the spot.
I thought it was going to be in. I couldn't believe that it wasn't.
Shame. That's a real shame.
Shame indeed.
It's a real shame.
Shame indeed.
Hate to see that.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Before I get to these official announcements, have you ever seen, Gibby, this would be applied to you too. Have you ever seen or heard of the movie Everybody Wants Some?
No.
Have you?
What do they
I
want?
want to say yes.
What are they after?
So this movie comes out in 2016.
Okay.
It is essentially a part 2 to Dazed and Confused. Same guy who did it, except it's now the first 4 days of college in the 80s. Totally different cast. So it's not like they're the same characters, but it feels exactly like Dazed and Confused, except it's set in the first 4 days of college. I'm going to tell you something.
I've never seen this.
I have no idea why this wasn't a bigger deal. It's great. It comes in the exact same feel as Dazed and Confused does.
It's a wonderful,
wonderful
feel.
Richard Linklater did it. He wrote it. He directed it. It's about early 80s Texas college, and it's the freshman kid on the baseball team.
It says, in 1980 Texas, a college freshman meets his new baseball teammates, an unruly group of disco-dancing, skirt-chasing partiers.
Sold.
And they navigate their way through the freedom and responsibilities of unsupervised adulthood.
It's
come nobody's
everything that
ever-
we would
How do
want.
I not know about
How
it?
did we not know about it? We would be the target audience.
Never even heard of it.
How did this movie not? Was this movie not a big
Glenn
big deal?
Powell.
Oh yeah, young Glenn Powell in the mix. It was like 8 years ago. It has a very similar vibe to Dazed and Confused, just pure joy.
Budget $10 million.
I don't know what happened.
Budget $10 million.
My theory is,
Box office $5.4 million.
I believe it because I never heard of it.
But how
And
could it
we're
be
the
that
target.
bad?
It's not. It's great.
Did you watch it?
I watched it last night.
6.9 out of 10 on the
It's great.
IMDb.
It's fun.
Really?
Yes.
Is this one of those where they
We-
just said, we're going to send it right to DVD and screw it?
No, it had a
over?
box office release.
Because Dazed, remember, I don't know if Dazed was like a hit in the theaters. Dazed was something that was a blockbuster. That was a blockbuster, is how that one went. So I don't know what happened. I don't know why it happened. Nobody I know and everybody that's in my peer group would be into this, would love this movie. They would all love it.
Okay, so film's debut screening took place at South by Southwest, Austin, Texas, March 11, 2016. Received another one-time screening at Sam Houston State, where Linklater himself had gone to college. On March 28, 2016, also featuring a student body Q&A with Linklater, Blake Jenner, Zoe Deutsch, and Ryan Guzman. Received its first limited release across 19 locations in New York City, Austin, Houston, and LA on March 30th. And then on April 22nd, Everyone Wants Some received its widest release, 454 theaters, peaking at number 13 in the box office. By the end of its theatrical run, the movie had brought only in $4.6 million, far below its $10 million
Was
budget.
it like a summer release? And
It
like
just
got
feels
lost
like
in the
nobody.
shuffle?
I just don't. I guess a couple of things. One, I don't think they make these movies anymore. And maybe this is why. It's this is, you have to be a blockbuster with. It's got to be a Marvel movie or it's got to be Dune. Like these type of movies don't get made anymore, and so maybe that was part of it that just got missed, and no studio got behind it and pushed it. But I would think on just the fact that it's basically a stepbrother to Dazed and Confused, that alone should have made us at least aware of it. The only reason this came up is because we were talking about end of school movies.
I mean, it's got a lot of praise. Like
It's good.
Ebert liked it, Variety liked it, Vox
Rolling Stone loved it.
Rolling Stone, The Guardian.
It's good. It's really fun. It's a really fun movie. And I watched, so this came up because we were talking about end of school movies like Dazed and Confused and
Sure.
Superbad and all of these ones from when the boys were finishing school last week. And somebody said, well, did you see kind of the sequel to Dazed and Confused? I'm like, what are you talking about?
What do you mean?
I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
And everybody I text last night, they're like, I've never heard of it. What is it?
Nope.
Like, you need to watch it.
Can you make these movies still as long as you have a big name? Because looking through the cast,
They weren't named, but it was also a $10 million budget.
Yeah, I mean,
That
don't know. But Dazed and Confused didn't have names either. It does now. But in the moment, Affleck was nobody. McConaughey, they got him off the street. Linklater, wasn't the story they ran into him at a bar and he's like, you should come be in this movie?
Yeah.
McConaughey's that way. Like, you didn't know those people were going to be those people at that time.
For sure. Was anybody was Affleck established at that point?
No way. I mean, he would have been
Was that
And that's
pre?
before he even fixed
Is
his
that
teeth.
before Clerks?
Is that pre Mallrats?
I think it's pre Mallrats. I think it's pre Goodwill Hunting.
Let's see.
I mean, it's got to be around that time, like Mallrats Chasing Amy, all that. But
Gosh,
there's Parker Posey was in the original one.
Yeah, Parker Posey. Goodwill Hunting was 97. Dazed and Confused is 93. Chasing Amy is 97.
Okay, so that's
Where's Mallrats?
This is probably
Mallrats is 95. So that I think
this might have been
his
first
first movie
was
was
like the
School
first one.
Ties.
Oh yeah,
School Ties 92. 93 he does Dazed and Confused. 94 he does Clerks. 95 Mallrats. 96
Then we're off.
and then we're off and running. And then 97 he hits Goodwill Hunting and then we're off, baby.
yeah. But so many of those people were discovered.
He's been acting for 30 years.
And by the way, when you watch this show, because I'm telling you, you both will like it. When you
Yeah.
watch it, you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
You're going to say, why aren't more of these people stars? Because there's the actors in it are great.
Yeah.
They're great. And Glenn Powell's a star, but like that was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ben Affleck, Parker Posey, Joey Lauren Adams, McConaughey, Jason London, Rory Cochrane, Mila Jovovich. Man. Adam Goldberg, who's gone on to do a ton of stuff. Marissa Ribisi's done a ton of stuff.
Mila Jovovich might have been
Cole
the biggest
Hauser.
star because she was like a model.
Michelle Burke, who was in Coneheads, was tremendous. Anthony Rapp's been on Broadway. Yeah. Yeah, Mila Jovovich was a model.
Yeah,
She's also great in Zoolander.
correct. Yeah. Let's see if this was. I wonder if this was Powell's first. I wonder if they discovered Powell.
Feels like it.
No, 16. It's not. No, he'd done stuff back to 2012. He'd done like some bit stuff. He'd been acting for a long time, going all the way back to 06. Wow, 03. Spy. He was in Spy Kids. Either way, it's good. It's good, and I'd never heard of it. I don't know why. I don't know how.
Like
I
laugh
missed
out
it.
loud good?
Pretty
Some
damn-
moments?
It's like Dazed. It's like
I love
Dazed.
Dazed.
Yeah,
I love that's high praise. This is
I'm
you're
not saying
you're
it's-
treading into
dude,
Pedro
it's the
territory.
same people. I'm not saying it's as good as Dazed.
Okay.
But it's really good. It's really fun.
Okay.
And it's going to remind you very much. It honestly reminded me very much of like my time in Tallahassee because the southern part of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was 22 when I moved there, so it was very much reminded me of that.
Yeah.
But it's quality.
Yeah.
It's good. Very good. I never knew it existed. We got some official announcements. New hires and promotions. Former NFL general manager Chris Polian is an advisor to general manager Andrew Berry. DeQuell Jackson, pro scout.
Yeah.
That's
How
cool.
about it? Very cool.
That's very cool. The great Brad Mellon, our great friend Corey Gillisey, is going to take that job, director of equipment operations. Also, Bree Zook becomes the first full-time female to join the ranks of NFL equipment managers as well. And do we talk about
Yeah.
what do we do here? Do we say
Scarlett's now a scouting assistant.
Scarlett's in scouting?
Scarlett's is in scouting.
This is in scouting.
He has begun the trek to one day being a master scout
There you go.
and perhaps running a football organization.
There you go. So that's it. Those are
Good
your
luck,
official-
Scarlett.
Yeah, great man. Great man.
Indeed.
DeQuell's cool too, man. I saw that. That was cool.
yeah,
to see.
DeQuell's awesome. DeQuell's awesome.
Yeah, very good. All right, there you go. Those are your hot topics today. They're presented by University Hospitals. In addition to that, Browns fans ever want to go to Las Vegas for a Browns game, maybe New Orleans? True Fan Travel, an official fan experience partner of your Cleveland Browns, hosting premium trip packages for the Browns fans. Visit truefantravel.com today. Reserve your ultimate Browns travel package. Nathan, add something.
It's exactly what it said in the copy.
I know.
Have Nathan,
I'm asking. You need to
hype
add
it
something.
up.
I once was in New Orleans in what is considered to be the oldest bar in New Orleans. They may have said it may have made a claim as bold as say it was the oldest bar in America. Is that even possible?
I don't think
so
because
it wouldn't
would
be
have
on
to
the-
be like
I
in
can
Boston
assure
or
you
something,
I've,
right?
I've been in 3 or 4 that have claimed that over time.
I feel like that joint in Put in Bay claims that.
All right,
I know
let's see
damn
what.
well it ain't.
Pull up Google. Give me a Google real quick. Oldest bar.
The White Horse Saloon in
in
Rhode Island
New Orleans.
is a big one.
The White Horse Tavern.
Lafitte's. This is it.
White
So
Horse
White Horse
Tavern.
Tavern claims it, National Historic Landmark.
Yeah, I've been
being
in
America's
there.
oldest restaurant, having served guests since 1673.
Okay.
Yes.
Originally constructed as two. Wow, how about that? You been there, Gibby?
I
All right, so
have-
that's a
I have
restaurant.
Shot glasses and everything.
Here we go. I have this right. Lafitte's Blacksmith Shop Bar. Built in 1722, was reputed to be the oldest structure used exclusively as a bar in the United States.
See, there's a way around it. There's
That's
a wording
fantastic.
for every bar. Look, congratulations if you've been around that long.
So, by the way,
that's a
lot of
that's a
business.
good run.
you can 1722. It's the place for the pirate. 1722.
Yeah.
Oldest structure used as a bar in the United States, and they've got real absinthe there. So there you go. Go to New Orleans. You can go to the oldest bar in the United States and have.
What do you
some
mean
absinthe.
real absinthe versus fake absinthe?
I don't know. They said it was real
Tough
absinthe.
word to say.
That's what they said. Real absinthe, where they would drip
Just
it.
to- yeah.
They drip it on the sugar cube.
I got a bottle.
But
of
for
it.
a while there wasn't. You weren't allowed. I don't think absinthe was
no,
allowed.
it wasn't. It was you could. In fact, it wasn't. But it is now. You can get it in Ohio
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And if you buy it, like it comes with like the little spoon.
Yep.
And you do the sugar cube and you pour it
Yep.
over the sugar cube. I will tell you this with it. It's different.
It is different.
from the way that it makes you feel.
Yeah. But I
It's
didn't see
different.
like in Euro Trip when they drink absinthe, they see like that little green man flying around. I didn't see that.
No, I did not have a green man flying around.
No.
But it is a different feel to it. It's really good in a is it a Belvedere? That's the there's a bourbon. It's like the official cocktail of New Orleans. It's a bourbon with absinthe. I want to say it's a Belvedere.
I think you probably have that right. How about that? That I pulled
and
out
then it's like a licorice. It's kind of a
Yes.
absinthe tastes like
Yep.
licorice, kind of black licorice.
bourbon drink with absinthe.
Come on, be right. Be right. One time.
This says
One time.
This is calling it a bourbon Sazerac.
Sazerac. What an idiot I am. That's a pathetic job out of me.
Yeah.
That's a
Don't-
joke of a job out of me.
Don't beat yourself up.
No, that's
Don't sell yourself short. You're
Don't
a
beat
tremendous
yourself up.
that's a slouchy, sad, pathetic.
Gibby, give
To
him
not
the,
know
give him,
Sazerac, come
give him the
on.
nice line that you
Come
gave
on,
me
this
yesterday.
is what
where you're
I do.
like,
I drink and I know things.
I'm
and
not
I got
going to
that
tap
wrong.
dance on you, but it wasn't your best. When he said
That
that,
wasn't
I was
I believe I had that.
Yeah, you were right. It wasn't
Although
my best.
your best was yet to come. Right after we got off.
Right after we got on the air, my last one was a really
Saw
good
that,
one.
yeah.
Then I left
Belvedere
in-
is Campari.
Okay.
Campari and bourbon.
Yeah.
Ugh.
By the way, I'm just pleased that I feel like New Orleans. When I think of New Orleans, I think of Bo Bishop, and so I was happy that I had that bar that I remember.
I want to go to that barn.
Yeah, Lafitte.
I would go to that trip with you guys. I would like that. That would be fun.
So come.
It's a fun trip. Nah, but I would. I won't even be here. That is a spectacular. That's a fun town. Both those are good towns. Have we done that? We got to do that this summer, right? Are we going to do like our guide to
Yeah.
the road trips?
Yes,
Jacksonville.
we will. We really
intimately,
we need you.
Vegas.
We need you on that trip.
Washington.
I need you on that trip.
God, you and I would have a ball at Philly.
It's my goal to come out of that trip unscathed.
Well, you'd be 1 out of 2.
I'm a grown man now. I'm mature.
Yeah, it's hard. That's a hard to avoid it.
Well, I've got considerable distance now,
Yes, you do.
which is good.
That's very good. Okay, at yeah, okay. All right, very good. There you go. That's all you need. So much more, including around the league, coming up next. Joe Burrow not in Bengals OTAs. A big kerfuffle this morning. Much ado about something or nothing among the topics coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner of Cleveland Browns. Now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, welcome back in. Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Now live in Ohio. We go around the league. Joe Burrow not at Bengals camp this morning. And then they had like an unscheduled Zach Taylor availability. And everyone's like, well, what's going on with Joe? And it turns out it was just an off day. But this is what happens at OTAs.
It's too much.
It's too much.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Especially if you're the Bengals, that doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter at all, but they got to have something to write.
T. Higgins, that situation bears monitoring. But other than that, no monitoring. Have they paid – the answer is, I believe – have they paid Chase yet?
Jamar?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So that's coming.
They wanted
Jefferson
first. I'm sure Chase wants to reset it, but I don't think there's any way that he resets it.
I saw something interesting the other day that basically said they're going to be in $90 million a year roughly for Chase and Burrow, which is a big number.
Yep.
For us, that's Deshaun, Amari, Judy, and Njoku.
Yeah.
I think and maybe like Elijah. It was like Nick Chubb. It was like
right.
a lot of people.
And here's the deal. From their perspective, when Burrow's healthy, they go to the AFC Championship game of the Super Bowl. So fine.
Yeah.
That's the price of doing business.
It's just going to be.
But how are they going to pay for the rest of it? They got to hit.
They got to hit in the
thing
draft.
I don't understand about what they're doing is I don't understand how they let Jesse Bates go for nothing.
They could.
That's crazy.
They thought they were drafting Dax Hill, and Dax Hill was going to be their Jesse Bates. So you're going to have Jesse Bates on a rookie contract. Now they've changed his position already.
Right. He's not even playing safety.
Playing corner.
So the arrogance that you would just be able to draft the next guy for all pros, it's just not how it works.
Correct.
Like they're going to take – you had Higgins, Boyd, Chase. Now, injuries didn't allow for it to all come to fruition, but like the next couple of – now they like the Burton kid out of Alabama. We'll see.
Yep.
But like they're going to lose Higgins for a compensatory.
Yep.
Is how it's going to go. He's
Yep.
going to play this year because he has to, and he's making $20 million. He needs to ball out so he can get the big money deal. But like the idea that this is all just going to be kumbaya, to me, seems very naive.
First of all, it is. You're right. It is very naive. I believe when you say the arrogance, I think that when the Minnesota Vikings traded Stephon Diggs to the Buffalo Bills, and then with the draft pick that they got, drafted Justin Jefferson, everybody thought, that's genius.
Yeah, we'll do that.
We can do that.
Yeah.
And then A.J. Brown, Treylon Burks has not worked out that way yet. DeForest Buckner to the Colts, and then you drafted Javon Kinlaw for the 49ers. That has not worked out. It's not that easy.
No.
It's not that easy. And so I think that's where you're seeing teams believe Bates and Dax Hill, well, we can do this. Mm-hmm. Now, some teams do it kind of effectively. The Ravens have been pretty good at it for the most part, unless they're drafting a receiver. Now, it feels like Zay Flowers they've hit on, but they've done a good job of those types of things. The salary cap keeps going up and up and up and up. And so if you were able to lock in, and that's why our deal with Deshaun for the next 2 years is going to look like a pretty good deal for the Cleveland Browns. If Jerry Jeudy is what you think he is, that's going to look like a steal for the Cleveland Browns. That's why Chiefs deal was such a good deal. They're being early and aggressive is going to save you money. And even if you're wrong a couple times, you're going to make up for it by being right a few times. I think it's very hard, though, to give up bona fide superstars in this league and think you're going to just draft their replacements and there's going to be no fall off. You're just going to all of a sudden have the salary cap savings. The Bengals are a better team with Jesse Bates, period.
Yeah, they sure are.
First team All-Pro, went to Atlanta, helped change their defense in 1 year.
That's right.
And they're going to win that division now.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Now they could have drafted somebody that maybe would have helped them win that division, but that's neither here nor there, is it?
That's true. That's true.
I do have a little bit of breaking news in terms of people signing extensions.
Go.
Christian McCaffrey, 2-year extension with the Niners, averaging $19 million a year. McCaffrey will receive an additional $8 million over what he was scheduled to make in the first 2 years, while adding $24 million in guarantees.
So, what was Justin Jefferson? 4 years, 140?
Yes, 144, I believe.
144.
105 guaranteed.
So that's 35. That's basically 35 a year. Am I doing the math right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the best by far.
I'm shocked.
19.
Yeah. I'm shocked how low it is because of the weapon he is.
Well,
It seems weird to me that like he's the one guy that you could say I'm not a running back, I'm a weapon. I'm sure they're trying to.
My guess is that when I heard that number, I thought to myself, he must have said, I want to stay here and I want us to still be able to, I don't need the extra
whatever
5-10 million a year. I'd rather have that be a good player with me. That feels like he gave them
yeah.
And he's going to be the best running. I'm sure he's the highest paid running back by a decent amount. But
gosh, yeah.
I don't even know if people can even comprehend how good he was last year and how good he has been really since being with the 49ers. My guess the stats for him, I'm going to do it without looking right now. I think he's over 2,000 total yards and 20 touchdowns.
Last year?
Yeah, and I'm pulling it up now. I'm trying to, but my
Where are we on the new iPad for you?
ordered will be here tomorrow.
By the way, in other 49er news, Brandon Ayuk is not reported for the start of mandatory minicamp.
Okay, so I'm looking it up now. I had that right. So he had 2,023 total yards, 21 total touchdowns. Both of those led the National Football League. Mm-hmm. Since joining the San Francisco 49ers, he's appeared in 26 games. 2,205 yards rushing, 20 touchdowns. 1,028 yards receiving, 11 touchdowns. In 26 starts, 3,233 total yards, 31 touchdowns. He is more valuable to than anybody.
Yeah, it's a hell of a career he's got. Like he's off.
He is. Oh, yeah. In an 8-year career, he's got 10,505 yards and 81 touchdowns. So he's
how many of those? I mean, he's got 1,000. He's
Yep.
got that when he was with Carolina. He's 1,300 and
Can you name the other two?
Roger Craig
Yep.
and
Well, that's the hard one.
is it Marshall or is it?
Yeah.
Marshall Falk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Roger Craig's not a hard one if you had football cards like we did as kids because you'd look at the back and go, really?
What?
That happened?
He did that in the 80s.
I know. No, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Absolutely crazy. No, that's wild. The mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, said he wants to host the Super Bowl. I bet he does.
No.
The Super Bowl is really important to us. We have a number of American football games, and I wanted to come here because we want American sports fans in Europe to come to London and watch them, not just America.
Yeah, no.
No, I don't think so.
I reject that.
I don't think we're going to take the UEFA Champions League and come play it over here. So we're just going to keep the Super Bowl ourselves.
Yes.
How about that, Mr.
How about
London?
that? Agreed.
By
the way,
go ahead.
I have to imagine NBC was crying in his Wheaties this morning
Well,
over what's happened with
they were still at the lake.
Real Madrid.
Yeah, yeah. They're
I don't think he's ever winning now.
no, they're not. They're not gonna. They Beamsy was this was a couple of weeks ago. He was kind of running his mouth with Bayern. I guess he had this buddy his come over, plays a lot.
Okay.
And he played with Bayern and he played with Liverpool and he beat him. He's like, I want a shot at Madrid. And I said, you haven't earned the right to play Madrid, so don't even let that word come out of your mouth.
Yes.
So I'll play with Dortmund and you play with Bayern. And if you win, then we'll build up. You got to build up to earn the right. This was Beamsy. He's like, fine. So I played with Dortmund. He played with Bayern, whipped him.
Yep.
So you're not ready for it.
Not ready. Well,
They probably had the two biggest flexes that I've seen a professional sports team make on social media in the last 24 hours.
because they just won Champions League, right?
So
I saw your tweet.
it's amazing. So they won They won their 15th Champions League.
Okay.
Okay. The next best is 7. Milan's won 7. They've won 15. They've won 6 of the last 11
Inter?
Champions League.
Inter or AC?
AC.
AC.
Red and black, not blue and black.
Yep.
So they've won 6 of the last 11 Champions Leagues. They've won 9 straight Champions League finals.
Yep.
It's just what they do. And in an era where they're like the Cowboys, the Yankees, and the Lakers all rolled into one, and they've never had a down spot.
Yep.
So that's what they are. In an era where there are all of this Middle Eastern money in European soccer, they're owned by the people. They're owned by Madristas. That's who owns them.
Yep.
So there's not billions behind them. They just run a nearly flawless business, unlike Barcelona, which is a mess. They run a flawless business. And so yesterday they signed – this was all that the tweet said. We have signed Kylian Mbappe. He'll play the next 5 seasons at Real Madrid. That's it. That's the release. So they signed – if Vinny Jr. is the best player on the planet, he's 2. Mbappe's 2. They already have Vinny Jr. So that's – and then today their president –
Vinny Jr. is now the best player on the planet.
I would say. It's him and Mbappe, but I think
what about the guy
cleaner.
with your, I want to say, Man
Oh, that's
City?
Holland. Erling Haaland.
Yeah.
He's probably not this
Not
year.
on
His form wasn't on that. He's one of them. But
Okay.
probably not this year on the form. So Fiorentino Perez is the guy running Real Madrid at the moment. They put up a 15-second clip of him picking up a Champions League trophy. He didn't say a word, and they just walks over among 14 other Champions League trophies, puts it on the thing, and that's the video. 15 seconds. That's awesome.
I just love that this was a team. They're never now with in that the way that
On
game
FIFA?
the way that
Or
game
whatever it
operates
is, yeah.
when you're gonna have Vinny Jr. and like
Well, you still have Bellingham, and they got Rodrigo on the other side.
right.
Yeah, no, it's nuts. Yeah,
When I
it's
played
a
my
long day for
season
them.
long low those many years ago,
Yeah.
I brought Rodrigo over.
Yeah.
And then I ended up bringing Vinny over. So I had those two, Mbappe, Messi. It was silliness.
Silliness, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's going to be a lot of a la Madrid for the boys. They're going to hear that a lot.
Oh, I don't think they might not even want it.
I don't think they would want the smoke.
They might just say, forget it. We're on to come play me in Fortnite, Dad.
No, they're going to have that. They will. Win
They will
that.
have that,
They're-
yeah.
That's going to be their little victory here. One other thing before we'll get here, Coach from the podium from yesterday coming up here in a second. The Bears are the featured team on Hard Knocks. I wanted it to be the Steelers,
Agree. Bears will be interesting though.
but they'll be good.
Yep.
They will be very good if they don't pull a Dorsey and they give them like the real people.
They've got to.
You can't. Don't you think they learned from what happened here?
I do.
Like how much time they spent
do.
on people that had no chance.
Yeah, the last two
They've shown that played the hits.
that was all Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, it's the Aaron Rodgers show.
So it'll be good. I mean, this should be about Keenan Allen and DJ Moore and DeAndre Swift and Caleb Williams, obviously.
Yeah.
You almost wish they had like Harbaugh. Eberflus. I guess we'll learn a lot.
I guess you're going to know about him.
We'll learn why they wanted to keep him.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah, perhaps that's true. Maybe you'll get a little bit of that. Coach from the podium from the Browns Foundation golf outing coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Fans, check out Vivid Seats, official fan experience packages for this season's games. Purchase Vivid Seats Terrace Experience seats, score club access, parking, pregame field passes. It's all included. Visit vividseats.com to learn more. And now we head to the podium, presented by Vivid Seats, official fan experience partner of your Cleveland Browns, your head coach Kevin Stefanski at the Browns Foundation Golf Outing.
Hello?
You're done.
What's going on? Great. All right, fire away.
How much do you know about the new offseason proposal at the NFLPA, or how much have you heard about it, and what are kind of your thoughts about just?
Honestly, I've heard none of it. I'm sure some people way above my pay grade are talking about it at some point, but we'll just, whatever the rules are, we'll adhere to them and really focus on what they are right now. But I have not heard that at all.
Do you think 18 games is coming?
Do you?
Yes.
Okay. Zach said it's coming. I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. We certainly, as coaches, we talk about it, and it seems to be the narrative that it's coming. Wherever they line them up and tell us to play, we'll play.
Well, you're very conscious of how you space things out. Do you
Yeah.
think that there would be significant change if that?
I've seen it said or written that there'd be an extra bye week. That seems to make some sense if they ever went that route. We think long and hard about those 17 games right now and how to play in training camp, how to play in your early part of your season, how to plan, thank you, Murph, plan the late part of your season. So it's, if the numbers were to change, the variables were to change in terms of number of games, you'd obviously have to take that into account.
Hey, Kevin, we were talking to Jameis Winston last weekend, and he just kind of casually mentioned that Ken Dorsey is calling plays. Is that a sign that how it's going to be in the future?
No, we rotate at practice. I don't always radio the plays into practice. I never have. We've always mixed it up.
As you head into the third week of OTAs, will Deshaun do pretty much what he's been doing every other day and sort of not against the defense?
We'll see, Mary Kay. I think I'm really waiting on medical when it comes to that. If they say he's ready to go, we'll throw him in there. But until then, we're really trying to keep it, by the day. And he's doing really, really well.
I thought a couple weeks ago you seemed like he wouldn't be every other day in minicamp. Do you still feel like it'll be more than he's doing now?
I think it's all being talked about with the medical groups. And I know you could talk to Deshaun. He wants to be doing everything. But we'll continue to listen to whatever the docs tell us to do.
The last time we talked to you, and we asked you about, Deshaun, you said he looks like himself. Does he look like he's made any progress, or?
What's another way to say it?
Feeling better?
He looks like Deshaun Watson. Yeah, I mean, he's again. You guys should talk to him. He's doing everything he's supposed to do. He's attacked this rehab from day one of the rehab. When he gets out there and throws it around, which I know you guys saw last week, looks like Deshaun Watson to me.
Do you have any update on Nick Chubb, Kevin?
No update. Nick's continuing to do well. Saw him this morning, but no update per se, Jeff.
This is probably a better question for Bubba, but we didn't think to ask it.
Okay.
Right after that, Andy Reid said he's going to put safety as the kicker.
Yeah.
The obvious advantage is you get another defender there.
You do, yeah.
Is it that hard to train someone to kick the ball 40 yards as a kickoff?
The specifics. Well, again, I think it goes into what we've been talking about all along. I don't think anyone knows exactly how this is going to play out. So we'll see if that first game they have their safety out there. They might. I know that ball placement becomes really important because the ball landing at the 10 versus inside the 5 versus, as you know, on the goal line, just in the drills that we've done, the closer that ball lands to the both return unit and kickoff unit, there's a opportunity maybe to gain yards in the kickoff return. So I don't think the premium of ball placement has changed for the kicker. If you have a position player that is really good at it, obviously that's a major bonus for them. But I think so much of it we're interested in, where that ball is placed by your kicker. Because remember, hang time means nothing now. It's just literally how can I hit my spot. Are people going to want to put the ball at the goal line inside the 5? Are they going to try to put the ball outside the numbers? There's obviously risk involved when you kick the ball outside the numbers that it could go out of bounds. How do people treat it indoors versus outdoors? Because as you know, at our place, it's one thing to say you're going to place it here, but it's harder to pull off. So I think it's going to be based on each team. Obviously, if you had a position player that you felt could be consistent in ball placement, that'd be an advantage.
Is there any conversation train someone to do it?
We feel really good about our guys. I feel really good about Dustin and his ability in that phase.
Kevin, we had a chance to talk to Elijah last week. How do you kind of see his role evolving here in year 2?
Yeah, I think evolving is a great word. I think he's getting better as a player. We're lining him up in different spots. He has the mental ability to line up in different spots. There's some newness, I'd say, that we're excited about for Elijah. But, I look back at his last year with us and some of the big plays he made for us. And as you know, he got a ton of opportunity in that Jets game with Amari going out, and he's having a great game, and he got injured. So I think he's somebody that knows that there's more there, but I don't want to be dismissive of a really good year that he just had.
And I know you guys were trying him in a bunch of different spots early last year. Did you learn anything about him in particular?
For sure, yeah, absolutely. And I think that's our job as coaches. You try things in camp, and then you try it in the games, and then sometimes you expand those roles. Sometimes you pivot in those roles. So definitely we learned more about Elijah over the course of the season, and he's very vocal. He'll communicate with me and with the coaches and kind of say what he's seeing. So he's been a great partner.
Kevin, I know you'll adjust to whatever the rules are, and you showed that during the COVID year. But how valuable do you think it is having the guys around, not where there isn't the 6-month break, right? You get the guys in April, May, and June.
Are you saying if there was a change?
Yes.
Yeah. Again, mother hen, you want all your players there every single day. Whatever the rules are, we'll abide by them. I feel really strongly that we have a safe, competitive, fun environment for our guys to get better, be around their teammates. So I'm definitely an advocate for that. I have no idea what the rules, how they're going to shake out. I have no clue.
Kevin, do you anticipate that maybe Amari and David Njoku might be at your OTAs this week? And just wondering, has your passing camp, have you been able to accomplish everything that you want to without some of those guys?
Yeah, again, I think the OTAs are voluntary. We don't say who's in, who's out, Mary Kay, as you know, and the guys that are here, I think we're getting better. They're definitely taking strides, and like you mentioned, passing camp, that's how the rules are written, so we're very heavy on the 7-on-7s in our camp, and I think the guys have gotten better. I think understanding some of the nuance and different things that we're doing has been important offensively, defensively, but I do anticipate seeing all those guys next week.
Kevin, what is the importance of
Sorry, Cam, one second.
What is the importance of this event for you guys to be here today supporting the foundation?
Yeah, as you know, Kelsey, what the Cleveland Browns do in the community comes right from Dee and Jimmy, and the philanthropic efforts that they've had throughout our community have been unbelievable. And with the Browns Foundation, it's a huge part of what we do. And having this event, which is a great, fun event for sponsors and having people out here, we are able to just raise a bunch of money for the Browns Foundation, which, as everybody in the community I'm sure can see, this money goes a long way within different aspects of Northeast Ohio.
I was going to ask about that. What does it mean to have your guys out here together on the golf course, away from the football field, while you're raising money, you're also kind of bonding and getting to know each other a little bit more?
Well, we got our work done early, so we got in early. The guys worked out. We had a walkthrough. We had meetings, so we didn't take a day off, but they still got some good work in here. And then, again, great cause. I told the guys it's fun that we're all going out there and play golf, but don't forget why we're doing this. We're doing this for a great cause.
Last one for Ashley.
Kevin, to go back to the passing camp aspect of things, like with these choice routes, I mean, obviously no pads, no contact. At this stage of the off season, like, is it just laying the foundation for reading those leverages and figuring out what the quarterback and receivers look for in certain situations?
I think you can get a lot done in 7-on-7 settings. Obviously, the scales tip to the offense. There's no pass rush. There's no D-line. The quarterback doesn't have to navigate a pocket and that type of thing. But I do think you can teach a lot off of those drills. And specifically to your question about choice routes, so much of a choice route, the decisions are made post-snap. Obviously, there's a pre-snap that you're seeing the triangle and the contour of the defense, but making our players make quick decisions in the field of play with a lot of bodies around them, with people buzzing the flat, with people coming down from the third level, if you will. I think you can certainly teach off of those reps.
All right, there you go. Coach from the podium at the Browns Foundation Golf Outing. Second hour of the program coming up next. This is the Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Rolling Stones Live. Stones Tour 24. Hackney Diamonds. It's Saturday, just in a couple weeks, June 15th at the Cleveland Browns Stadium. Tickets are on sale now. Visit clevelandbrownsstadium.com/Rolling Stones for more information on that. A couple other things around the league. The Panthers working on getting – it's going to be a split, it looks like, in Carolina with the Panthers, where it's going to be half city, half private.
Okay.
But it's kind of – there's some interesting language in the statement that was released today that said that it was almost like the 688 is coming from the city, but then the other 688, part of it is like already been paid by Tepper by what he paid for the team.
Okay.
So like it's an interesting language.
So not a
that they had
dome.
in it. No, not a dome. Not a dome. Is that? I don't have a whole lot of experience in Charlotte, other than mostly having flown through there and enjoyed their rocking chairs. Yeah, I knew that. I would imagine though that the Carolina Panthers are quite critical.
I would think
Charlotte.
so, yes.
I mean, I know it's a big NASCAR town.
Sure.
Feels like the Hornets were
Flair
never
country,
what they
but-
used to ever be.
Yeah. It's Flair country, but
What isn't
Flair's-
Flair country? He's from Minnesota.
I know,
Why
but
is
the
he
Carolinas?
That's where he made his bones.
Yeah.
But he likes Michigan
Like
football and stuff too.
Greensboro, North Carolina. It's
Well, that
like-
feels like where him and
That's
a lot
Flair,
of Tully
peak Flair.
Blanchard and
Yeah.
Flair running through there.
Yeah, I think they're important, and obviously their stadium is fine. Adam Thielen would tell you it's.
Oh yeah, he says, "quote We probably have the worst facilities in the NFL right now. I don't think there's anybody who would argue that."
Yeah. So
You buy that? That's not worse from a stadium. It's not worse than Washington.
it's similar to Washington and Cincinnati. Very concrete-y, sterile, not great.
Yeah.
I don't know about their team facilities though, and I'm sure he's referencing the whole.
Tepper's one of the wealthiest owners in the league. Like, make it right, dude.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that Browns fans be very thankful for. The Haslams have invested a ton into the facilities for the players. Players who come here from other teams, like this cafe is outrageous. We've got the natatorium. We've got all the different recovery modalities that you could possibly need, and they're not done.
They're not done.
They're still doing that, and then eventually someday this is going to be a massive complex here in Berea.
Yeah.
So their commitment to that, I think, is something that doesn't go unnoticed, and I think that's part of the overall culture that is being built through the Haslams, through AB, through Stefanski, that has made this now a place that people want to play. Winning is obviously a monstrous part of that, but everything here, if you're a player here, you're going to be treated first class, and everything will be done for you to try to maximize your gifts.
Do you know how valuable the way Joe Flacco talked about this franchise was? I mean, can you imagine that?
And it was,
and he
sincere as
it was totally. He played for a model franchise. Baltimore is a model franchise, all the way top to bottom. And he played there and raved about this place.
Yep.
Yes, like that stuff.
Did.
That stuff
matters.
all matters, man. It all matters.
It sure does.
I saw this last week. We were at the golf outing, so didn't have a chance to get to it. The Voice is stepping down from WKYC on June 10th after nearly 40 years at Channel 3.
It's an incredible run, and I think that everybody's first initial panic was, well, what does this mean? And they were very wise to even WKYC opened their story with he will be remaining as the play-by-play man for the Cleveland Browns. So happy for Jim. We'll get some more time out on the Ponderosa, obviously.
Yep.
Focus on his health, make sure that he's taking care of business the best way he can there, and then obviously he's going to be ready to go for the Cleveland Browns.
That is as dramatically a changed industry. That's the industry I got into.
Of course.
What that industry was and what it has become. It basically was it's like 15 years after what happened to newspapers. Same thing.
Yeah.
Like it's played out the exact same way. It's stunning. You never would have guessed it.
No, I mean, come on. You think about when we were kids, or even to your first foray in the business, and even back in the early 2000s when I was doing things on local television, you were like, the sports guy was the king, or Sports One was the queen.
Yes. Yeah.
And compensation was tremendous, and freedom was tremendous, and your celebrity was tremendous.
Even what you had, even the day-to-day of the job.
Yes, was tremendous.
Yeah,
you weren't out there legging the camera around shooting.
No.
You were delivering
the
highlights.
That's it. No, it was
And so it's changed, and he's
changed.
seen it. He's been at the absolute peak and seen it, and I think it is a very changing. Do you think that in, let's say, 10 years from now, will there even be local? There'll always be local
like
news,
linear?
but will there be every major network's going to have it?
Oh no, no. That started even changing when I got out in 15, and it was even changing then to where. Well, in fact, I think one of the stations in San Francisco is an independent. That used to be like a big time, either CBS or NBC, something like that. I think it's independent now. There's one in Phoenix. It was one in Jacksonville. So in the old days, the network, you would pay the net. I can't remember if it was it the television. The local stations would pay NBC for their programming because of it would lead into the local news. Like you'd get that full lead in.
Yep.
Well, now that's all gone. The average, I just saw this last week, the average age of the over-the-air, like broadcast television show viewer is 65.
I thought it was maybe even 70. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 65. Like it's just people aren't watching those shows anymore.
No.
There was a time when, in our lifetime, 40 million people would watch an episode of Seinfeld or Friends or that type of stuff, like a scripted comedy. Like that doesn't exist.
Gone.
Or like ER or Grey's Anatomy, those shows. Those were monster
For
30,
sure.
40 million people.
And there's a time when the local news was watched by every day.
It would. I remember, and I'm sure you were the same way. But like my grandpa, when we would be out on the Ponderosa, and he would have lunch with the noon news. You get the ag report, watch the noon news, get the ag report, and then at 6 o'clock, actually out there it was 5:30. The 5:30 news, like you had dinner as it was going on, like the news was going on. Like what happened? What happened today?
Yeah.
Now,
and then I remember as a kid that I'm pretty sure it was the 10 o'clock news, and then you get the sports at like 10:50.
Yeah,
and then that would
10:20. I was always 10:22.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like 10:20, 10:20.
It was always the finale.
It was this. You would go 2 news blocks. It was probably a half-hour news, so you'd probably go 2. Well, maybe an hour. They probably made an hour there.
Yeah,
but they would always go 2 news blocks, weather, sports, end.
Yeah,
that was the setup.
Yeah, we had like Dennis Richmond.
Oh yeah, you know those guys.
Oh yeah, Mark Ibanez.
For sure. Yeah.
Did you say your grandfather did watch the midday
noon news?
Oh yeah,
for the egg
Paul
report.
Harvey egg report.
Oh yeah, you get the egg report. You
Paul
gotta
Harvey.
know what's the price.
Day.
What's the price of cattle today?
I had to run that in Springfield, Illinois.
Did you run that?
Here's what the commodities are trading.
Commodities,
at.
baby. You got to know.
You do.
Are we taking a truck in today?
Yep.
We got to take a truck in. We hauling some grain today or not?
Oh
boys?
yeah.
That's how the operation worked. Yeah, but congratulations to Jim. It's incredible to be those. That will never happen again. You're never going to have somebody be in that job for 40 years. Just like you're never going to see like the Nance, Costas, Joe Buck, like those runs of like 40 years, 30 years at a network. It's done. It's done. Those gigs are done.
Not even Noah Eagle.
That's play-by-play. So that can be.
Yeah.
I think there's that. You'll see that. But in terms of like, I'm Jim Nance, and I'm going to do the Final Four and the Masters and the NFL, and I am CBS.
Yeah.
That's done.
Done.
Yeah. Do we want to wade into the Caitlin Clark? Do you want to wade into that?
I mean, if we talked about it a little bit yesterday, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. I'll just say this the reason that this is being, there's a lot of reasons being discussed, but here's the realities of this. 1.5 million people watched that game on Saturday. Okay.
Yep.
So for perspective, that's that's more than a lot of the Stanley Cup playoffs have been. That's some NBA playoff games. This was an afternoon game between two of the worst teams in the league.
Yep.
And 1.5 million people watched it. So for whatever reason, she has been a touchstone for ratings. And I got news for you. If you're the commissioner of the WNBA, no, you don't want people smoking her. That's not right. And that needs to be stopped. And you and I talked yesterday, like, where are her teammates?
That's the big to me.
That's crazy. Like, but the other thing I would say is, like, you and I even dropped a Marty McSorley and a Ty Domi.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, it's kind of good for the league.
It is right now.
That everybody's talking about it.
Yes.
It's kind of good.
It is very good. Jimmy Traina had this tweet yesterday. And he quote tweeted Angel Reese, who was saying the reason why we're watching women's basketball is not because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want you all to realize that. Well, It's unfortunately not true. Attendance at non-Caitlin Clark WNBA games this weekend.
Yep.
Did you see this one?
I did not.
7,600, 4,000, 9,800, 7,000, 3,200, 10,207, 7,024. So 11, we'll call it 20, 30, 40, 47 divided by, round it up to 50 even. Say there's a little extras. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 50 divided by 7. It's basically 7,000 a game, right? We'll call it 7 times 7 will be 49,000.
Yeah.
7,000 a game. Attendance at Caitlin Clark WNBA games past weekend, 17,274, 17,401.
Essentially sellouts.
Sellouts, more than double, 250% of the other average game.
Mm-hmm.
The ratings of her games compared to the average game, that is it.
That's
it.
Now,
what I would say to the people that clearly there is resentment and there is jealousy and there is vitriol, and for a variety of reasons, and many of which are probably justified. You now have the eyes of the sports world on you, so you want to make a name for yourself. Make a name for yourself by balling out.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark, thank her. She has been the vessel to which this is now being talked about on First Take.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why it wasn't talked about on First Take for many, many years.
Correct.
There wasn't an audience.
And
now there is.
Yep.
And so now it is being talked about. So now this is the opportunity we've got everybody's attention to make the best of it and not make the worst of it. Because the risk of alienating, I think, some of the people who have tuned in is great. Whereas the opportunity to say, no, this is actually a great product and come watch it. And look, I'm a star and there are other people that were stars. Like Tarazi's one of the greatest female basketball players of all time.
Yeah.
But she didn't captivate.
Not like this.
Like this.
No.
This is the one. This is the lightning in a bottle. And I think that, it's clear there are many in the league that are going out of their way to try to make life miserable for her, which is, I understand it. She's making more money off the field,
but they will too.
That's my point. If this is handled the right way and everybody sees and you guys are all playing great basketball, you'll have more stars who are making more money, all of it.
Yeah.
But trying to kill the golden goose to make a point is not smart.
No, it's a little bit like Tiger. Remember how PGA players were with Tiger?
So I'm glad you said that, because I was trying to think of, we were talking yesterday about thinking about kind of.
I brought up Sidney Crosby yesterday as one that
analogies,
I remember that.
Right?
Yeah, and then I just thought of Tiger.
But there are multi-level components to this.
Sure.
And I think in the Tiger situation, there's actually a very similar one from the race of the player in the sport and how that was impacting perhaps some of the discussion and discourse that was going on and some of the emotions and feelings about it that were going on. And yeah, Tiger was like that, but then he was also such a phenom and a prodigy that it was able to overcome that more quickly than, for example, like if Caitlin Clark was going out every night and dropping 40 and was Pistol Pete Maravich and everybody and they were winning, I think that some of this would, because there's nothing we can do. I think there's a sense that what we're doing is affecting her.
Yeah.
Whereas Tiger was like red shirt Sunday, it's over. Like he's impervious to your.
Did he have a hole-in-one in his first tournament?
He's impervious to anything you're trying to do. I don't remember that, but I know he was.
I want to say was it in Phoenix? And I think he had a hole-in-one in his first tournament.
Feels like he would. Feels like a Tiger Woods thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that very, very early on. But no, I thought about it. I thought of, because the racial component's there, and you thought about that with him, with with Fuzzy Zeller and those comments. And
yes,
kind of the way some of those guys bullied him. But then, and you're right, she's not. He was a supernova right away,
and you can't go hit somebody while they're hitting a
correct
golf ball.
And he's by himself versus a team sport. Like it's hard. But the one thing that they all realized pretty quickly was, we're all going to benefit from this.
Yeah,
because more people are watching golf than they ever have before. And all of a sudden, Jack Nicklaus just told this story. When Jack won the Masters in 1986, his prize money was $125,000. When whoever wins the Memorial Tournament this weekend, the prize money is $4 million.
Yeah,
he made $125,000 in 1986 to win the Masters. The guy who wins the Memorial Tournament is making $4 million bucks
exactly
Sunday. That's Tiger.
Yeah,
that's the Tiger effect.
Totally
of what happened.
Totally. By the way, looking pretty phenomenal
gorgeous
for a
blue.
Tuesday.
It's a lot going on. And a summer Tuesday?
Yeah.
It's a summer Tuesday, Coach. Jeez. NBA Finals do not start until Thursday. Do you know why this is? Because you know that the NHL doesn't start till Saturday.
I think it stinks.
The NHL went a week, and the NBA went 10 days.
I don't
understand it.
They set the finals start date like back in
But
January.
why?
They always do. They
Yeah.
don't set any of the other like the playoff weekends or first round or anything, but they set the NBA finals always has a hard start date.
I don't understand it. And the NHL, too. The NHL's off until Saturday. And then they're going to stagger them so they're not on the same day. So that part at least makes sense. But, like, if the NBA starts Thursday, why didn't the NHL
Great.
start
But
tomorrow?
currently there's nothing going on.
No, there's nothing.
No, nothing. And it's kind of lost the momentum.
I agree 100%. I think they have lost momentum.
I was pumped to watch. And now you get a great game one, you'll be sucked right back in, and I acknowledge that. But I was excited to see the Mavericks.
Yeah.
And I don't know what about it. I like the Celtics and Tatum. I want to see what they do. I want to see if Porzingis comes back. Kyrie and Luka play a beautiful style of basketball. It's very, very fun to watch. Luka becoming just a trash-talking demon who then is trying to drink beers after the game, and Michael Finley's ripping beers out of his hand. What was that about, by the way? Why can't the guy have a beer?
It's an onions play for Michael Finley. And
Totally.
He was a good player, but, like, to go to the franchise and say, yeah, no, and then kind of
What's his
embarrass him,
role?
show
What's
him
his
up.
role with the Mavericks?
He's like a VP.
Why can't he have a beer?
There
They
was
just won.
something. So I heard something to the effect of
you got more info.
they were trying to get him out of the locker room. Like inside the NBA on TNT was waiting for him, and he was like, I'm just going to sit here and drink beers.
Wasn't he with his a family member?
With his
He
dad.
was with his dad. That's what I thought. Yeah, he's standing there
Him
with
and
his dad
are
having a beer.
They're not going to play it for a week.
And I think they were like, TNT is waiting on you. They've been waiting on you for a while.
So you know what? They could keep waiting.
They don't have an end on that show.
They just won the Western Conference Finals, and
They
he's
don't have
having
a
a beer
hard
with
out.
his father.
Yeah, he can wait.
He can wait.
The only thing I could think of is if they were like NBA sponsorship, like he would get fined for
Drinking the wrong beer.
The wrong beer.
Yeah.
In it. But I
Listen.
mean, like Bird was famous for that, for
Yeah.
sucking down
Of
beers.
course. How about, his trash talk to Gobert, his trash talk to Snoop.
Yeah.
He's a menace.
He is. He's not particularly fun to watch, to me, because he's so ball dominant.
Yes.
And so it's kind of, now he's so gifted.
He's a
But
good passer, too.
He is. But no, I'm not saying he's selfish. I'm just saying, like, he's a pounder.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so it's a tough.
I think it's incredible that he does a lot of what he does in relative NBA terms is somewhat slow motion.
Yes.
And it is unstoppable.
Well, it works.
And Jokic's, but he's
That's true.
a 7 foot.
Yes.
He's a giant.
It works for him because of his he's big.
He is big.
That's why. That's how. He's hard to
just
get
a
around.
killer, though. The
I don't
shot
know
over
if
Gobert
physically-
was-
The only thing I don't know is I don't know physically if he's going to be able to continue to carry that weight.
He's just he strikes me in some ways of like the great Samoan wrestlers of the WWE who they were bigger, but they could carry that, but they just move differently because he strikes me as that.
Yeah, I think that's
like people forget, what is he, 6'7"?
I think he's 6'8".
6'8"?
6'8", yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah.
He's a huge
He's a
human.
big dude, man.
So some guy says people are spazzing out about Mavs VP of Ops, Michael Finley, removing beer from Luka. He was looking out for Luka because he wasn't in the locker room. Cameras on him. Finley knows how the media likes to twist things.
I think Luka Doncic would say, I drink beer. Guess what? This whole playoff run, I've been having 20 beers a day, having the time of my life.
I don't.
Head coach of your Cleveland
there he
Browns.
is, right there.
There he is.
I see no scenario where Luka Doncic having a beer would be viewed anyway negatively by
I think it's
Come on.
awesome.
Yeah. No one. I don't think there's any way to twist that.
He feels to me like the one guy, see the old video, I want to say, or pictures, I think it was like Len Dawson, and they're like ripping a heater at halftime. Like,
yeah.
Luka feels like the guy in the
Feels like
NBA
it.
would be like, have a beer and
so what?
Rub a heater at halftime, and
it's fine.
Let's go. And then I'm going to light you up and let you know about
A
it.
post-exercise beer is a great beer.
It's a wonderful beer.
It's a great beer. There's lawnmower beer. There's post-exercise beer. These are all great beers. All right, we'll do.
We're going to hold off on that.
We're going to do
figure
that.
out what we're going to do next.
All right,
because we went a little long, which is good.
All right,
fine.
So we're going to figure out what we're going to do next. But we have a feeling you'll be entertained by it. You'll listen to Cleveland
We
Browns
know you
Daily
will.
on 850 ESPN Cleveland. One of the most passionate fan base in the NFL. Join Next Gen STM, presented by Ticketmaster, official waitlist of your Cleveland Browns. Being a Next Gen STM, the best chance to become a season ticket member in future seasons. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/nextgenstm to reserve your spot today. Let me ask you this. Do you think the UFL, so the CFL opens Thursday. The UFL, we talked a little bit about the Caitlin Clark ratings.
Yep.
They're getting about 700,000, 800,000.
Solid.
Which is really solid for them.
Yep.
That's viable. Now, football's a really expensive sport to try and play.
Most certainly.
So how long can they stay afloat when they're not getting attendance? Because it seems like St. Louis is the only one that draws fans. I actually think they blew it on the league. It should have been the USFL or the XFL. Like the UFL has no brand.
No brand.
I know the divisions are XFL and USFL, but like pick one. It doesn't matter.
It. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
They both have nostalgia, different types. Both would work. Do you think that the better season for them would be to try to play it in the summer? So right now they went like right after the Super Bowl, and then they're still going. But like I haven't watched any of it.
I think for the players, it has to be now to give them an opportunity to get on an NFL team and get into camp.
Okay.
Or it could be a little bit later and then kind of end and call it like but if you want to have a chance to make the team, you need to be in these OTAs and mini camps, right? You're saying they're still playing right now, the UFL is?
Yes.
For how long?
Canadian Football League opens up on Thursday.
Okay, and how much longer does the UFL have?
The UFL, I'm not sure.
Okay. I just think you need to give these guys a chance to get in. Now, if nobody's getting a chance to get in, and it sounds kind of like that's the case before mini camp, then you could run this into the middle of June or July in that dead period, and then have people come right out of this season, get signed, and come into training camp. So that certainly is a way that it could be done. That's possible.
That's what I think. And I do think that is there then a possibility, and would this create a little bit – what you want is you want the NFL to kind of want to be like a minor league to the NFL. You want to be developmental. You want a developmental partnership with the National Football League. Is what you're hoping for, right? So if there's, let's say there's 16, even if there's 8 teams, and every team has 4 NFL kind of teams feeding them, develop these guys.
Yep.
Then maybe you have a chance.
Yep.
It's a tough sell though. It's hard in our country because, and this was something MLS fought for a long time and is now really viable and thriving in some markets. But the MLS struggled with this. We want to watch the best. Our sports leagues are the best sports leagues.
Yep.
So when MLS first came out, and even still, you say this is not the best soccer in the world. It's not. Everybody knows it's not, right? So that's the thing that I think struggles with UFL. Now the ratings are a success. 800,000, 900,000, that's a win.
Yep.
For sure. But they're not drawing attendance.
Correct. Yeah. No, I'm with you. Summertime's also a nice time to get out and get into a stadium. You know what I mean?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hear you. I'm fine with it because if they're still going right now, they're going into the time when people will be able to get here. And maybe you have an opportunity, once the NBA finals end to have your Super Bowl mid to late June. There's really nothing else going on. So then you'd have an opportunity, I think, to just be the one thing that people are watching. So yeah, I'm totally fine with that. I like that suggestion. Not against it. Not against it at all.
I don't know. There's a window there. All right, coming up next, Ken Dorsey from the podium. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
You're up.
Ed Bo here for the James B. Beam Distilling Company. Sunny days call for refreshing cocktails, which is why Basil Hayden's mellow, refined, subtly sweet bourbon is a perfect choice for your summer entertaining. Basil's the approachable, lighter side of bourbon, distilled with a higher percentage of rye to give it a subtle spiciness, perfect for the setting and the tone of the season. From hosting backyard dinner parties to happy hours on the patio, beach days, enjoy time with friends in a more approachable, sophisticated way. Head over to basilhaydenbourbon.com. Check out their cocktail recipes for your next gathering. And now we head to the podium, offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey.
All right.
You're down.
Good.
Where's Deshaun kind of relative in his rehab to where you would hope he would be if he wasn't going through a rehab?
No, yeah, I think rehab versus non-rehab wise, obviously the reps. He's not getting the live reps out there on some of those 7-on-7 periods and things like that we're doing. But I think Kevin does a great job the way he structures practice in the off-season program. One, with the rules and doing what we're allowed, but then two, that really allows Deshaun now to get some reps too. From not just strictly standing back behind a mental space. So I think it's a really good combination right now of him getting mental reps, him getting some of the live reps, quote unquote live reps that he can get in a more of a jog through tempo, and then obviously the routes and the throwing when he can't get in it on his throwing days.
Now that you're out here on the grass, even though what you just said, how will your offense can get the most out of Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a constant evaluation to make sure we're doing the right things. That's part of developing an offense and coaching, to making sure we're maximizing our personnel as much as possible. And, of course, that starts with Deshaun. So we're constantly going to be evaluating that, making sure we're doing the right things, especially as he gets out there and those reps continue to grow from a full speed standpoint.
Ken, when you see him throw the ball, like today was the first time we saw him live, and it looked good, but have you seen him, I guess, really push it with the arm?
Yeah, I think each day, it just keeps going, and so I think that's part of this process, and it is a process. We went through a similar thing in Carolina with Cam coming off of shoulder surgery, where we had to make sure we were monitoring distance of throws. Couldn't go past a certain yardage. How many throws he's making at practice. All those things were basically throughout the entire year. So I think where he's at right now is kind of in that process right now. And as he gets more and more comfortable, and part of that's just the mental side of things too, that, I can start really opening it up more and more because of the confidence in it, So I think there's a lot of that involved with it as well. But you see him continue, like each day, ramping it up a little bit more and more. He threw the ball down the sideline, a vertical throw today, and, that's one I hadn't seen, from him a lot, because we haven't pushed him to do it. So that was good to see. So I think the more he grows and feels comfortable with it, the more you'll start seeing those things get ramped up more and more.
Ken, does it make your evaluation of putting the system in a little bit more challenging, knowing he's not at 100% and it's kind of a day-by-day situation?
I think that's a good question. I think what we're trying to do right now is, because of his situation, obviously, he's trying to get all the reps he possibly can from a mental standpoint, but we still want to install the offense, and we still want to, get everybody else, involved up to speed. So that puts, a lot on us as coaches and in the quarterback room to make sure we're maximizing every learning tool possible. From the different camera angles to on the practice field, making sure we're talking, live as plays are going on and all that stuff. So, you don't want to limit, what you're installing just based off of, his availability, because, there's things that those other guys need to make sure they're getting reps on too.
Ken, the end product of your offense, how much would you estimate you'll be in shotgun versus 100%?
Again, I think it's a conglomerate effort, and between Kevin, myself, the whole coaching staff, there's a lot of input on those types of things, not only from the pass game, but obviously the run game as well. So to put a number on that, I think the season is so fluid, and a lot of times you don't really know because of the way this, the league has evolved in terms of what you can and can't do in training camp and OTAs and things like that, a lot of times those things are evolving until week 3 or 4 of the season. And it's not truly like, set in stone until, you get a really good feel in true live game action. So to answer your question long about, I think it's still an evolving process to determine exactly where we want to be from a gun versus under ratio.
Ken, what have you seen from Jameis as he's taken those live reps just in practice last 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think James done a great job, and it's really encouraging. I think the most encouraging thing is all right, if we make a mistake and we go in the room and correct it, you see that being corrected the next day. On whether it's similar concepts, the same concept, whatever it is. So as a veteran guy who's played a lot of football and seen a lot of things, it's not like he's not open to the coaching and not open to the evolution of his game, and kind of how maybe we do things a little different than what he's used to. So he's done a great job from a leadership standpoint, from a execution standpoint, continuing to grow, and then taking what we're talking in there onto the grass.
Ken, how much does your personal experience as being an NFL quarterback and, of course, college, help you in your job as offensive?
I think it's a good question. I like to think it does help because, when you're watching film and you're watching it from the side view and the back view and that kind of that wide angle, things look so different than from that perspective from under center. And it's like, why, just throw that. Well, it's like, from that view, it doesn't look the same all the time as that wide angle view, and when you can rewind it a few times and everything. So I think there's a understanding of some things are realistic, some things aren't from a what you ask those guys to do standpoint sometimes, and then just the understanding of comfort level of that position is so important. They got to feel comfortable and confident in what they're doing because they're the ones pulling the trigger at the end of the day. So we got to make sure we're getting those guys to that point where they feel 100% ready to go and rip it and just able to react and not think about things.
Why do you like using?
Go ahead.
Why do you like using those the choice routes that you have in your system? And I see Elijah over there talking. How do you think he kind of fits in?
Yeah, I think we continue again. That's part of us finding out who if guys feel comfortable doing that. Because some guys have that feel, and then other guys, right? It's just not part of their forte. So I think that's the good part is like right now. We're getting different guys doing it, whether it's choice routes, whether it's, deep balls, inside route, whatever those concepts are to see, who feels comfortable and who's got that knack for running certain things. So Elijah's been coming out, doing a great job, whether it's those types of concepts or just winning one-on-one matchups on a slant or a go ball or whatever. So that's part of that, this feeling out process and evaluation process for us as new coaches, and then for us as we evolve in our offense.
Is there, along the lines with those choice routes, is there a challenge as a coach teaching, making sure that the quarterback and the receiver are seeing the same thing and are on the same page? Because it feels like there's a danger of the quarterback would see one thing and the receiver see something different.
And to answer your question, yes. I mean, it takes reps. It takes them talking about it. It takes watching film. There's so many different aspects of, not only those routes, but a lot of different routes within the system. So, to answer your question, there's a lot of communication there. When we had Cole in Buffalo, there was an adjustment period, and getting on the same page. Like that first year was like, is this gonna work? Because that it just takes time for quarterback and receiver to get on the same page on some of those field routes.
Ken, bigger picture, as you and Kevin have rebuilt the offense and really just put your system into play, how helpful are OTs, even though I know there's no contact, but being able to get reps on film and being able to actually see it play out on.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're watching tape or you're walking through and all that stuff, that is great. But to get live reps is huge, and in whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter the system. So yes, I think to be able to get out here, get live reps, to be able to teach off of guys, see it, things are happening fast. I mean, our defense is darn good. So, things happen fast out there for those guys. So there's a teaching aspect of it. And I think the way you worded it was perfect. Like it's not my system. It's not Kevin's. It's our system. You know what I mean? And so we're developing our system. And these reps right now are invaluable for us.
Thanks, Ken.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
All right, there you go. Ken Dorsey at the podium. So much more to come. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Folks, don't air your downside of your home this summer. Hi, gang. Riz here. Call Universal Windows Direct now. Schedule a free in-home estimate for every 2 windows you buy. Get the next 2 for free. Plus, Universal backs it up with a true lifetime warranty, 20-year warranty to the next homeowner. Maintain a consistent temp in your home and increase your energy efficiency. 216-518-8900 or go to uwd.com. And like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Tito's Handmade Vodka on game day? Pour me in, coach. From a seat in the stands to the best seat on the couch, root for your favorite team with your favorite team spirit. No matter who's on your roster, lineup, or lucky jersey, make Tito's your first round bottle pick. Whose house? Tito's house. Find cocktail recipes for every fan at titosvodka.com.
All right, welcome back in. Cleveland Browns Daily.
Yes.
Who would have been your – we mentioned the Bears on Hard Knocks. Who would have been your top 3 teams?
Bears.
We probably should save this for tomorrow because we could do 20 minutes on this tomorrow.
Okay.
But we'll do a little preview now. Top 3 – you can pick any team for Hard Knocks. Who's your top 3?
Bears.
2 minutes.
Steelers.
Bears are still in your top 3.
Oh, no. But I thought because they were chosen. No. I would do –
Steelers was number 1.
Steelers. Falcons.
I want to see Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
With Tomlin and Fields.
Yeah.
Operate.
Yeah. I want to see the Falcons.
Cousins.
Penix. Bijan. Drake London. Kyle Pitts. Like, they're kind of
Who's
an up-and-coming
the coach there?
team. Raheem Morris.
Oh, Raheem. Yeah.
Passed on Belichick.
Yeah.
Maybe get some discourse on that. And then the
I
other,
think the Niners would be pretty fun.
Niners would always be fun just to see how Kyle operates. But the other one I was going to say was the Chargers. I mean, obvious reasons.
Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Operating with Herbert.
Yeah.
Harbaugh's awkwardness.
Yes.
Yeah. Those are pretty
Houston.
good. Houston's fun.
How are they dealing with, being like they're the it team? And CJ Stroud is doing.
He's doing everything.
1 minute.
He's making the rounds.
Yeah. You heard he said
we got to talk about
Stafford?
that tomorrow. We got to talk about Stafford, Eli, Rodgers, all of it.
Yeah, we will. We will talk about that.
It's
By the way, did you see this? The University of Houston
Yes, they told him.
Kick rocks.
Good.
NFL, Titans, you don't own light blue.
Don't do it.
And they put it on every team, not just their football team. Every team is wearing baby blue.
Good.
Good for them.
Good for them.
You don't own a color. Okay?
Go Cougs,
30,
right? They're the
30.
Cougs.
Go Cougs. Big 12 team now.
Go
The Cougs. They're in the Big 12.
Along with Arizona.
Yes, they are. That's a fact.
So outrageous.
The next level is coming up next. We are back tomorrow. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.